Good morning and welcome to the latest in the AlfaPeople webinar series. My name is John Doris and I'm a Senior Microsoft Dynamics Consultant at AlfaPeople. Today we want to talk to you about CRMGamified as a concept, and then we'll do a demonstration of the software itself. So what I want to first say is gamification. What is CRMGamified? CRMGamified is the latest groundbreaking add-on solution to Microsoft Dynamics that drives user adoption to get the best return on your Microsoft Dynamics CRM investments in the easiest and most simple way. Gamification is the use of game thinking and game mechanics in a non-game context in order to engage users and solve the adoption problems. Gamification is being used in many applications and processes to improve user engagement, return on investment, data quality, timeliness, and learning. By applying gamification techniques to CRM solutions, you can achieve better levels of engagement, motivation, loyalty, goal accomplishments, collaboration, productivity, and ultimately improve results. So, what customers are using CRMGamified at the minute? We're just taking a few here. Obviously, quite a biggie here is a Nike. We also have a LinkedIn, we have a Foursquare, and we have various customer loyalty programs, so quite a selection of big name customers over a range of different industries. I want to look at some of the gamification market statistics to give you an idea of gamification and how the model is changing and being used throughout the marketplace. What you can see is that, ignoring the bar chart for a minute, I think the interesting stuff is actually on the right hand side, some of the Gartner statistics. On the global 2,000 companies, it's seen that 70% will have at least one gamified application by 2014. In terms of innovator, it's seen that 50% will have gamified innovation processes by 2015. In the global 100, 40% will use gamification as a primary vehicle to transfer business operations by 2015. Okay, so some big numbers there in a not too short a period. Now, that's a quick overview of CRMGamified, but I think what most of you are interested in today is actually getting a look at the functionality itself. So we're going to have a demonstration for about half an hour. I'm going to take this demonstration kind of from a couple of perspectives. I'm going to talk about really a day in the life of a sales or customer representative. I'm going to talk about news feeds, web dynamics, profiles, game progress banner. Then I'm going to look at a day in the life of the sales or customer service manager, how they monitor team progress, how they monitor CRM usage, how they use the leaderboards to motivate their staff. And then I'm going to look at what a CRM administrator can do. It's all well and good me showing you this great functionality, but you guys don't have a lot of time to invest in setting up the system and maintaining the system. So I want to look at that and to show you that it is quite an easy thing to do. So I'll just click on escape here and we'll open my instance of Microsoft Dynamics. Now, in my settings area, I've said that I want CRMGamified to be my home page. So when I first opened up CRM, it's gone straight to the CRMGamified news section here. And you can see a photograph up here, and we're logged in as Adam Lowell today. Neither of those people are me, not my photograph, and not my name. So what I want to show you is that we have a news feed section here. This news feeds section will show me a list of all the items that I have awards for. So where I've earned points, I've earned badges, I've earned achievements, where I've met my goals. And we'll go into those terms a little bit later, but I can see a feed. And again, I have my social web dynamics. I can simply click on like. I can click on comment. So I'll just say, congrats, Adam. Okay, and I'll just click on the OK here. From my right hand side, I can see the leaderboard. So I can see any people that have won points so far this month, and again it's only the 3rd of September now, so we only have Adam in there for now. This will show I'm number 1 this month. If I change that, more importantly, maybe to overall or last month, if I click overall, you can see that will change the number of players that appear there. So what we can see is that Adam's number 1, and that Adam here has got a novice level. He has accumulated 303 points overall, 4 badges and 1 achievement. But I also can see is that Cynthia is in number 2. And by clicking on that arrow, I can see that she is also a novice as well. We'll talk about the concept of novice a little bit later. The number of points she has, 192, 4 badges and no achievements. Okay, and that goes to 5 on that. But you also can see down here we have the concept of teams. Now this just works off the basic CRM teams, members of those teams being particular users. So I can see the accumulated points, the accumulated badges, the accumulated achievements for those particular users that rolls up to the team. So you can see here that the East region has 555 points, 8 badges and 1 achievement. So I can monitor, I can see the leaderboard at both a contact and a user and a team level. So really interesting there as well. And what you can imagine is having this leaderboard for your teams in a call center scenario. Again, this leaderboard can be seen on the mobile application. All the time we're motivating people to see what other people are doing. Can they do better? Can their team sell more, resolve more cases, make phone calls, whatever you set that up as. What I might want to do though is I might want to drill into Adam's particular records. If I click on Adam here, what you'll see is we see more detail around his records. So we can see up here again he's a novice. We can see that he earned 2 badges. But in the middle section we can see his most recent rewards this week. I can see the date and time that he had these rewards, and I also can drill into the particular records that he won awards for. If I scroll down a little bit further, you can see last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then I would just expand those to see the points that he won last month in there as well. Okay, so some really good features in there as well. Now, you've seen in this kind of a CRM Gamified news area, we've seen the leaderboard, we've seen the newsfeed as well, but let's get to earning some points. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I think everyone on the call today is really familiar with the sales process, and for those not, what I mean from the sales process is that recording that an original lead, or maybe in some people's parlance, inquiry, qualifying that lead by maybe having a phone call, and then transferring or qualifying the lead into an opportunity account and contact. So I'm going to use that as my example today. So again, I'm in my workplace, so I'm in the sales area here, and I could click on leads. It would open the view of data, and I'd click on the new button. But again, a lot of you are familiar with this. If I click on here, what I actually can do is I can click on the new button here. Now the lead form opens, and for those eagle-eyed people on the call, you may have noticed a new feature within the lead, and that's the game progress banner. Now what that game progress banner will do, it'll appear on every entity, and it will show the different points won by different users within the system, and it'll just gradually show the points won, show the next points won, and so on, and it adds as a motivating tool to those particular users. So I can see here that Adam Lowell won 5 points for an interest in CRM Gamified. If I open up this little button here, you can see that this is Adam's overall position, number 1, the points he's earned, the badges he's won, and the achievements here, and that he won those 4 hours ago, and that he created Deepal Astra. Alright, and again, I don't know if I want to do it, I could just click through them like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to simply create a new lead in the system. So I'm going to say implement MS CRM and CRM Gamified. Okay, again, what I'll do is I'll put in some information here. So I shall choose one of my colleagues, Mark Lanning, some of you have probably had a webinar from Mark already. I'll put the company name in. Again, I will just use AlfaPeople Denmark as the company. Usually, and again, most people have many more mandatory fields on here, but we're using an out-of-the-box version of Microsoft Dynamics here. So for anybody who knows, the only field that is mandatory on the lead when it comes out of the box is the last name field. And kind of on that point, we'll come to this a little bit later, but in the system you'll get points for creating a lead or qualifying a lead and so on. But what you might want to do is give points for people completing data correctly. So you might want to make a field basis required, but what you might want to do is to say, okay, we would really love to get the person's website in here or their industry code, their SIC code, but it's not always possible. But if you do fill it out, then that's pretty good. So we're going to award you points on that. So what CRM Gamified has allowed you to award points through using processes, workflows. So pretty interesting stuff there. We'll come back to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on save in this record. When that record saves, I'm just going to show you something now. So I'm going to click back to my CRM Gamified news, click on the home page, and I'll just refresh. And what you'll see now is that Adam Lowell has just earned 5 points for creating the lead called Mark Lanning. And again, if I close the Mark Lanning lead, I'll click on here and it would reopen the record itself. Please be aware that the points are set at 110 now. That should change a little bit later. I'm popping back into Mark Lanning's lead. And again, anybody understands the sales process, that you might have a lead created and that sets up a workflow that says you must make a phone call within 2 weeks or something like that. Now, when you make that phone call, you might do two things. You might disqualify the lead or you might qualify the lead. I'm going to click on qualify up here. And by clicking on qualify, that should go off and create a new contact called Mark Lanning, a new account called AlfaPeople DK, and a new opportunity from that lead, pulling information in from the lead itself. So what I might do is I'm going to go back to the workplace again here, and I'm going to see if I earned any points for qualifying the lead. I'm going to click on this, just a refresh button. And what we can see now is that, just as I said, 5 points have been earned for creating the opportunity called MSCRM on CRM Gamified. 5 points have been created for creating the account called AlfaPeople, and 5 points have been created by creating the contact Mark Lanning. So I've got 15 points in here, so hopefully just in a little second the leaderboard will refresh. Just click on home here. So what you can see is that 144 points have now been set up because I did that. Okay, perfect. Now what you might see is that originally we were 110 and then we got 15 points for this, but I also get extra points for qualifying the lead. So I got a new badge for that, and you'll see a little bit later on there are points associated with the badge, but we'll come back to that. So you can see so far we've seen the CRM Gamified news feed, we've seen the leaderboards, and we've seen how we can earn points through our normal sales process. I mean, we also may award points for creating cases, resolving cases. We might actually get points for making phone calls if that's my job function. So what I'm going to do is I actually now want to chat about a day in the life of the sales or customer services manager. Okay, so the sales or customer service manager is really interested in monitoring usage of the system. And they can do that in two ways. We've seen that this morning already, that if I go into my players over here, I can see what Adam Lowell has done. I can drill into that, and I can see in this month, this week, last month, or overall. I can drill into the detail of what Adam has done, what records he's updated or created. But I also might want to see it at a team level as well. So I click on my teams down here, and I can drill into that same sort of information, but for all of my users wrapped up into the one team. But what CRMGamified have done is they've created a couple of dashboards that you can use to monitor this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the first one here, which is CRMGamified dashboard. Now, one of the things that probably annoys a few of you is the lack of functionality around monitoring user adoption, who's using the system and who's not using the system. And I suppose AlfaPeople, for those who are aware, we have a product on the marketplace, Microsoft Pinpoint, which allows you to see what your users have been doing in the system. We've got a heat map. You can drill into that heat map, and you can also view what they've added, deleted, or amended over a set time frame. That's called the user activity report. Now, CRMGamified have done something similar here. So what they've done is they have created a series of charts. One is activity by user by week, activity user by month. I suppose it depends what you base your maybe your bonus scheme on. What I'm going to do is, again, this chart's quite small here, so I'll use the out of the box functionality to click on here to enlarge the screen. So what I can see is by week, the count number of touch points they've had with the system, week 29, week 30, and so on. You can see the detail in the system there. I'll close that. As you know also, if I want to see what data makes up this chart, I can click here. And that will show me the records that have been made up here. And I can drill into those a little bit further. Go back to my dashboard here, and what you can see is that down the bottom we also have a rankings area. So we have two charts. One is the top 10 total points by user. I can see them listed across here with the actual number. And we can see the top 10 total points by team. And what you can imagine here, as I said before, is you can have the TV screens and monitors within the sales call center or within the service technician room that have these on this. Maybe possibly you might want to use this one instead. So if I go to the CRMGamified leaderboards, and then in a quite nice graphic, you can see in this one that Adam Lowell is away out in the lead in terms of his total score in terms of team in the East region. The East region is doing twice as much business as the West region. So you can see it's really cool to have those on the screen to maybe bring that level of competition and motivation within that team to drive the different users on to deliver more. So you can see that there are the tools in the system for the sales, the customer services manager to use. So far we've covered, the CRMGamified that for the actual user, the user experience, seeing what points they have. You can see that the manager can monitor that. But I now want to step into how easy this is to set up. So like in most areas within CRM, the setup is done within the settings area. And some new forms have been added to the sitemap in the settings area. So we have a CRMGamified section here, and we'll run through that in a little second. But like most things, we start with the user record. So I'll click on administration, and then I will go to my user records as well. And what I'll do is I'll just quickly close these forms up here. Again, anybody who's had a look at Microsoft Dynamics 2013, I hope a few of you have already. We have a very flat user interface now. We don't have those pop-ups. We don't have those multiple screens. Please look at some blogs. Please look at some videos of it. You'll be, highly impressed by what they've done with it. A real game changer for Microsoft Dynamics. A brilliant piece of kit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the user record. And what you'll see is that the ribbon has a couple of new buttons attached to it, and I'll just highlight maybe Adam's record here for a start. So we have 4 new buttons in here, and I'll come back to the recalculate level button. That's quite interesting. We have a reset scores that we might want to set them back to 0. So that may be where someone no longer is using CRM Gamified, and you want to reset the scores completely so they're not dominating the leaderboard. Also, we have the enable and disable users. Obviously, not every CRM user will be a CRM Gamified user. Your sysadmin aren't, maybe some of your managers aren't. So what you need to do is you actually need to enable the users so they can use the CRM Gamified functionality. I'm just going to pop open Adam's record now. And again, you can also see across the top, I'm using tab browsing from Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2011. Some of you might have it to non-tab browsing. I find it really useful for tab browsing. Within the screen here, you'll notice we have a few buttons, and again, we talked about the reset score, and we will chat about the recalculate level in a second. But I want to talk about the add or remove points. I'm sure many of you have migrated data from some of your legacy systems into Microsoft Dynamics CRM. That might have been before you went live, or actually you're migrating data after you went live because you're bringing on a new department or a new business. Now, what you should do really is, if you're about to import that data using the Microsoft import tool, or maybe you're using something like Scribe that AlfaPeople provide, you should switch off or unpublish the CRM Gamified rules. So that means when you do the imports, people won't get a points assigned to them just because they own those records. If you don't do that, you want to add or remove, or in this case remove the points afterwards. So using the normal Microsoft Dynamics CRM dialog functionality, which I'm sure you've all had to play with, I can actually select a reward, add that reward, remove that reward, remove or add a series of points. And again, if I remove points, do I want it to create a public post? Probably if points are getting taken off me, I probably don't want to publicize that, so I would click no on that case. Again, that will add or remove points as necessary. So very, very straightforward. I'm done with the user record, so I want to go back into the sitemap here in the settings area, and I want to run through a couple of these, okay, just to show you how easy it is to set up. So I'm going to start with awards. Now, the awards here, we have platinum achievement, gold achievement, silver achievement, and so on. And these are the ones that come out of the box with CRM Gamified, but of course, change these to what you want them to be. And there are two really types of CRM Gamified award: achievement and badge. And if anybody spotted this earlier on, I'm just going to go back to the workplace now and go to my CRM Gamified news. I'll just wait for the leaderboard to resolve. A badge shows as a ribbon here. I don't want to use the word ribbon, but anybody, people will know what I'm talking about. So the badges are here, and again, the achievements are the trophy symbol. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my settings area, and that should go directly back into my awards. So what I can do inside my awards is I can create those new awards, or I can amend some of the existing rewards. So I'll just go into my platinum achievement. Okay, so I give it a name, I give it a plural name. I say, is it an achievement or a badge? And then I associate a points with the badge itself, or the achievement. So when I get the achievement, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, I not just get the one new trophy, I actually get points with that as well. Okay, so I can create new here or amend existing. I'm done with that. I'm going to go into levels. Within here we have a default set of levels. I'll open that. Alright. Does everyone remember that when I looked at Adam Lovell's record, he was a novice? Let's quickly back and show that might be good. Click on the workplace. I go back to my CRM Gamified news. And what you'll see now is on the right hand side, we have the dial here. So I'm at level 1 novice. I click here, and this is where this is set up. So you can see that I have 5 different levels, and I have 5 different naming conventions for those levels. So level 1 is novice, level 2 problem solver, then expert, then master, then visionary. Again, these are the out of the box naming conventions. It's up to you to say something that is more appropriate for your organization. If I was talking about Microsoft Dynamics, MVP would be a good example to use, because maybe that's a level 4 or a level 5 within here. So I could rename level 4 from master to MVP. Now, what makes me a novice? I'm a novice if I've had between 0 and 499 points. If I get 500 points, then I go up on the dial to be level 2 problem solver, which is 500 points. And again, if I get over 7,500, then I become a visionary. And then what appears within the dial here, I will go up to 5 on this. And then everyone asks me questions about everything. Now, it might be the case that when you first roll this out, you maybe have set the bar too high or too low for problem solver or export perhaps. So what you can do is you can click on the unpublished button up here, make your changes to the system, and then click on recalculate level for all users. You saw previously in the user record that I actually could recalculate the levels just for that single user, but that's for all users in the system, which is pretty good. I click on that, and what that means is that maybe if I was a visionary, and then we got up the ante to say that actually to become a visionary you need 1,000 points, but to be a master you need 7,400. When I click on that recalculate levels for all users, anybody who's got less than 10,000 points but more than 7,400 would then become master instead of a visionary. So I'm sure you get that principle. Now back in my settings area, and I'm going to talk about entity rules. Now when I open this form now, what you'll see is a list of all the out of the box, or the custom entities that have been created by Microsoft Dynamics. So I can set up rules for these ones. Now the beauty, as you all know, I'm sure, the beauty of Microsoft Dynamics CRM is that Microsoft have created a development platform for you. So I can create my new entities, I can create relationships to all the different entities. I have my option sets and so on. I can do my advanced finds around those. So it might be the case that we might want a set of rules to award points based around the lead or the opportunity of the cases. But actually you might have another entity that you call, let's call it transaction. So you might want to add points for creating a transaction record or amending a transaction record, say. So what we'll do is we'll go into lead here. I'll open that up. Again, we have to publish and unpublish at the top. Now, based around the entity that I've selected from within here, if I create a new one, I could obviously choose an entity. When I choose it, it knows by default the different actions that I can occur within that lead. Now out of the box, normally it's assign, create, delete, or update. And it knows that happens, but it also knows because it's a lead, there is the ability to qualify a lead in the system. Okay, so you can add that one as well. I will open up the ability to do the create action. I'll open that up. And what we'll see within here is that we have the entity. So what I'm going to say is that when you create here the action, a lead, you get a quantity of 5 points. Okay. Now what is interesting here for me is the credit to function. Now, I know a lot of you experience this, and it's hard to get away from. You have some users that are better than other users that are entering data in the system. That's what CRMGamified is all about, I suppose, but again, there will still be users that they might go out and get leads, they might go out and get opportunities, but that information is still, is written up on a piece of paper or emails and passed back to an administrator to update CRM. I think we all live in the real world and we know that happens. So in terms of awarding points, you have two options, values in the option set here. You have credit to the user who performs the action, and you've also got the value of the owner of the record. So again, in this terms of who creates the lead, it might be the administrator who creates the lead, but it's actually the owner of the record, the person who went out and got this lead, who maybe should have been awarded the 5 points. I think you understand where I'm coming from with that. I'm just going to close that one. Close that one as well. Now I'm going to pop into goal rules. I hope that the majority of the people on the call are familiar with goals and goal management. If you're not, I have done a webinar which is on our YouTube site all about goal management. Please spend the 15 or 16 minutes watching that webinar. Goals are arrived in CRM 2011, and you know it was a game changer for many CRM users. They many people had previously written reports to create this functionality. Maybe I'll spend a little bit of time now talking about goals, maybe before we go into the detail of CRMGamified goal rules. Now, a goal probably can be described as KPIs. A goal can maybe be described as, work towards your target. So let's take an example of probably the kind of most common example of a goal is that a salesperson is maybe set a target for a quarter. So they're said for quarter 3 year ending year 2013, they must have done £200,000 worth of closed business. So that's their target. Now, how does that kind of get wrapped up in a goal? A goal allows us to say that. It says specify a goal metric. It says I want to measure how many opportunities have been closed, and I want to look at the actual revenue for those. So we're able to see that. We also might want to not just see actually closed. We might want to see ones that are in progress as well. So I can say in the goal metric, I can say show me goals that are still in progress, and then what we can do is say wrap those around a time frame, and we can see in lovely goal progress charts, which you've probably all seen already, that this is my target, this is where I should be today, this is how much business I closed, and these are the opportunities that are still in progress. Okay, so kind of a one-stop shop. Now, CRMGamified have recognized how good that functionality is within CRM, and they've kind of piggybacked off it. So I'll pop into Sale Houston here. Now, when Sale Houston opened, I probably should have mentioned that a little second ago, is that most of these entities have the ability to say enable posts for this rule. And what that means is that do I want for this particular rule that if someone makes their goal or gets a part way towards the goal, do I want to flag it up in the news feed? I'd probably say I would want to celebrate the fact that I made my goal. So I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see these are the goal itself, the CRM goal that is included in this CRM Gamified goal rule. So you can see Adam Lovell, quarter 3 of 2013, has got a target of 80,000, and he's achieved 98% of that so far. Now, what CRMGamified does, it allows you to actually give achievements, awards, based on awards and ranges is this section here, based on how close the person got to their bonus. The first one here is the platinum achievement. This is the big one. I have achieved more than 100% of my bonus. So in this case, if Adam had achieved $80,000 and 1 cent, he would have got a platinum achievement which was greater than 100. He also might have got 96 to 100%, and that means he got his gold achievement. Again, these are all configurable here. Down the bottom, you can see he's got his bronze achievement, that he got 50% to 75% of his goal. Now, if I got 50%, if I got 75%, would I want that on the news feed? Maybe this is kind of more of the stick approach, that it will be publicized if you don't do too well, but again, you can enable this or you can switch that back off again as well. So superb functionality in the system. It couldn't be any better. So I'll just save and close that record itself. Okay. So just some other little bits and pieces within that. What I can do is I can see the history of any records, any team scores, any user scores. I can go to the resources area and I can see some of the help text. Again, I've got an error log in here as well. We're coming to the close of the demonstration itself, but I just want to cover off one more thing. If I go to my settings area just here, I have some user settings as well. So again, I can upload a picture, and this is one of the standard pictures of Adam here. I can say, do I want it to appear on my post when I earn a badge, when I earn an achievement, when I reach a new level? Generally check that one on. Do I want it to be posted every time I get a point? Probably not. So what I can say is I only want it to post when I get a minimum of points, because we don't want the newsfeed being cluttered up. And again, simple setting around CRM Gamified as my homepage. So straightforward stuff there. So that's the end of the demonstration. I want to bounce back to the PowerPoint presentation, and I want to talk about CRM Gamified Mobile. This will be released very shortly in the 2013 release. So it'll allow those road warriors to get involved so they can quickly access the entities from any screen just by swiping their finger to the right. Allow them to swipe to the left to unveil a smart context menu where they can access related entities and settings. And again, they can simply see the leaderboard exactly like they would see within the PC. I think it's pretty brilliant, because I know when it comes to the end of the year or the end of the quarter, the salespeople are really pushing to see if those deals have come in. And if I can access that within 10 seconds on my phone to see where that deal has been made, I'd be checking it every 10 seconds every single day to see whether I'm still number one salesperson in the team. Again, we can change the view on the mobile app to see teams or individuals, and you can change the period that we're filtering on. So some really good stuff there, and again, it's a great companion piece. With these things, I now want to review the benefits of applying CRM gamification. The biggie is increasing user adoption. Okay, it's kind of the stick approach, the carrot approach, where a person can see that everything they do in the system can be rewarded. Do they want to get up that leaderboard? Do they not want to be at the bottom of the leaderboard? So at least increased user adoption. It also is really good at focusing on business goals. We talked about goal management earlier on, and yes, that's related, but think about it this way, is that you have different sales processes or business processes within the organization. What is important to you? Okay, so when you figure out what is important to you in those processes, then award points to the areas that are important to you. Is it more important to create to create leads? Maybe it is. Is it more important to actually qualify those leads? In my opinion, yes. It might even be even more important to actually close the opportunities as one. So give the points to the areas that are most important to you as a business. Leading on from that, that obviously will boost sales itself. And if we take the example of case management, if we're getting points for resolving cases, then we're obviously going to resolve more cases in a shorter period. We talked about this briefly earlier on, that again you can set, we just don't have to stick to creating a lead, creating an opportunity, converting a lead, creating a case, resolving a case. We can actually run workflow processes on certain fields to make sure that the data is of the highest quality, and we get points based on that. So something to really think about there. Again, motivating, tracking activities, team collaboration and learning, all about, if I'm in that sales call center functionality, getting those dashboards on the screen, get everyone involved, get everyone pushing towards a goal to be the best sales team within your region, within your organization. And again, getting CRM usage statistics, who's using it and when they're using it. Okay, I'd just like to say thank you for your time today. If you want to get some more information about CRM Gamified and AlfaPeople and what we do, please visit our website and maybe make an inquiry. If you have any questions, you can contact me on jd@alfapeople.com. or you can contact my colleague James Nightingale on j@AlfaPeople.com, or give us a call on our call line. We'll gladly speak to you. And we have our Facebook, our Twitter, and our LinkedIn data at the bottom. So again, thank you for attending today, and we hope to see you at our next webinar.